YouTube.
Okay. My laptop just gives me to fact check shit. There we are.
At the drug festival.
All right. So we are live.
Ooh.
Welcome everybody to our podcast. Welcome brand new guest Megan. So for this, don't talk to the camera. Don't just talk to us like you're talking to us. You know?
Okay.
Phil did that a little bit last time where he was a little bit talking not to us. So
Phil was breaking the fourth wall a little too much.
a little bit too much. But yeah.
Deadpool.
So
Guns.
yeah, we're good. Okay, we'll just go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Michael, the host. We have
The sometimes present co-host, Brett.
all right, Megan. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Megan.
And what do you do, Megan?
I'm president of Turning Point USA at California State University, Sacramento.
Ooh, spicy.
Woo!
All right. So yeah, we just got done with our meeting, and so one thing I do want to ask right off the bat, Bish, who is she and why was she there?
BISH.
For those that didn't-
BISH.
yeah.
So Chris Bish is running for Congress right now, and one of the most important things to do in my position, in my opinion, is to be providing my members with opportunities to advance their careers politically. I think that's how we're ultimately going to be saving California, is by getting young conservatives, libertarians into positions of power within our local government. And the way that you start with that is by helping people. It's by walking precincts. It's by doing those phone banks. And I really like Chris, and I thought she did a great job tonight. I don't know about what you guys thought. No one?
No, yeah, she definitely, I mean, for a quote-unquote surprise guest, she did really well. I mean,
How much time in advance did you have to know that she was coming?
Well, I knew that she was coming, but then she asked for like a reminder, and I reminded her, but then she never got back to me. So I was like, I don't know if she's coming or not. So I planned this very elaborate meeting, and then she showed up. But I thought she was very engaging, which was nice.
All right. I had no idea who she is. I'm not even from Sacramento, so she's not representing my district. I don't even know who it is. I think McNerney, and then he's like the Democrat that's in the chair right now. Actually, my cousin, who is just in the other room, is aiming to take his seat. Not this election cycle, but the next election cycle. But yeah, so I had no idea who she was. I thought it was funny. She had the I took it off.
Bish, please.
Bish.
Yeah,
Please.
Bish, please. I think it's over there. Yeah, it's over there. Just straight up, Bish, please. It was great slogan. Honestly, I do have a little concern, not about her as a candidate, but just about, yeah, she did say that the Democrat voting turnout is getting a little bit lower. I'm not sure I feel like it's low enough to where a Republican can confidently, or at least feel like they have, flip the seat itself. It's not. I'm more of a realist thinker when it comes to politics. We are in California, so I feel like we need to have the most realistic approach to how we can do things. Idealist thinking, to me, in California, just kind of undoes what conservatism is about. Just because you have the left really going after people that are idealists instead of realists. Because we need to, whether people like it or not, we need to actually work with our opponents to get shit done. Eventually, it could be like a creep up thing. We work with them enough to finally one day we have enough power to where we can just do our own shit and then take California back for ourselves. But yeah, it's something that concerns me. I would love for her to win. I would love for all of us to be idealists with how California's run. But sometimes we need to be realistic about what's going on. I do think that if enough people, the people that show up at the meetings, again, young voter turnout is always low among every type of demographic, whether conservative, liberal, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be low. I think it is important for the youngsters out there to actually vote. I have my ballot in my car, actually, for San Joaquin. So, yeah, no, I think people should really at least try to help her campaign and really get out there and actually do.
And a little caveat to that, I think that's just how our young people are just disconnected from politics in general. I mean, I looked up the average age of both houses a couple hours ago.
Mhm.
The average age of the house is 57, whereas the average age, we have a little too many career politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
But-
true.
Yeah, and then, okay, so you had that. Let's see, anything else you want to cover from the meeting for those that miss it?
Yeah, I mean, we went over the basics. We talk about the same things every meeting. One is the Northwest Regional Conference, which is coming up April 4th through 5th. If you haven't signed up, go and sign up. I'm watching you. I can't watch you.
Look in the camera. Look in the camera.
I'm watching you. Go sign up. If you're under 26, there's a very good chance you'll be accepted.
Sorry, Zach.
Oh my
Oh my god.
God.
Yeah, he won't watch this.
We
He
talked.
really came to the meeting.
Yeah, that's true. We then talked about Candace Owens. She's coming May 6th. She'll be here from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. in ballrooms 2 and 3 at Sac State. VIP tickets are available, and we are looking for sponsorships. We also the VIP ticket includes a 1-hour meet and greet, a VIP lounge, a signed copy of her book Blackout and premiere seating. So be there. But the biggest thing that we're talking about right now is the business symposium. The business symposium we developed because we feel that at Sacramento State, although they're known for their business program, they don't really focus on the realities of owning and operating a business in California, or even how to live in California. And I really think that there needs to be a reality check for students, which is one of the reasons why we're here. And that led into a really, really large conversation which ties economics to culture. And gosh, it's really complicated. It was really complicated. In a good way, in a positive way. I don't want to dominate the podcast.
You're the president. You're the main star of the show right now.
Okay. Well,
We've been trying to get you on for a week. Go off this.
Okay, say what you want.
Okay, so basically, we have a debate internally right now about free markets and how it does have a negative impact culturally. And what's happened is that people are turning towards socialism because they feel like they don't have a voice. Like, that's essentially what we're talking about. And some people think that it's due to a loss of religion. Some people think that it's due to men no longer having a place due to women being able to care for children and have jobs. Other people are focused on corporate America no longer being invested in the United States. And what I really want to do with Turning Point is address these issues and be more solution-based than I think conservatives have been in the past. So that's what we discussed, and also we discussed common critiques that we get at the table.
No, that was one I wanted to speak a few times. I felt like we needed to get shit rolling though throughout it, but especially with people's views when it came to how we should fix the culture part of America when it comes to things like that have to do with women. So yeah, I really their rights, they're in society. That was a reference to some people in the club that might.
Oh my goodness, you can't. Okay.
Yeah, well, okay. Anyway, yeah, we have the 19th. We're not going to take that shit away. Okay. We have women there in the club. We have women in society. As I think somebody said today, it was I think Connor. Yeah, he should have said we live in a society. It's a kind of dumb statement what he said. I didn't know what he said. I just heard it. We live in a society. But when it comes to talking about women's rights, abortion, stuff like that, when we're tabling, when we have Turning Point events, I think that we should really take a more calmer stance and not, like you said, go up and just as a gang and target one person. I think we should have people that are really at least somewhat decently informed to have a one-on-one conversation with whoever's coming up to talk about what they're talking about. And I like the way you did it today. Like you have Phil with the guns, me with education, Kyle with what was his like taxation.
Roads.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be a good idea. It's kind of hard with people's schedules on who's going to be there at what time.
Yeah.
So I think encouraging people to diversify what they know is great. But yeah, no, I think that we definitely need to practice calmly debating the other side or calmly talking to the other side.
Yeah, I mean, just to provide context with whoever is listening, some common critiques that we get are, you go to a public school, how can you think taxation is theft? How can you think taxation is theft? Don't you want roads or firemen or whatever? 3, what's the point of having an AR-15? Why is that necessary? 4, socialism works in Norway. We weren't able to get to that one tonight. So just so you know, we had people go up and who are specialists, in my opinion, in our chapter, and help people be able to rebuttal that when they get yelled at from across the quad. And in regard to the Change My Mind, we were actually helping college Republicans with Change My Mind, abortion is murder. And to me, with a topic that is so sensitive, it is imperative that you not only talk calmly, but that it is more of a one-on-one discussion. You don't want women who are already feeling vulnerable to feel more threatened by us. Feel guilty. They've made mistakes, and getting yelled at isn't in any way helpful. It definitely won't change mine, but they did their best. You know, it's also nerve-wracking getting out there and trying to have those discussions.
Yeah, it is. I think that it's nerve-wracking. We do need to have because the people that come up, they're the ones that don't feel like it's nerve-wracking, or at least when they do, they're going to come up and almost start a crowd of other people, whether it is conservatives or liberals that come up, just to watch. Just to watch to see what happens. Everybody likes to watch and start a crowd and see what's going on. They want to see the drama, whatever is happening. So yeah, it is nerve-wracking, but it'd be nice to train, or just have ourselves train to be able to take that on. I mean, it's kind of an extreme example, but you have in the civil rights movement, people sat down to be berated and pretend like they're in a diner where they shouldn't be sitting in the not in the whites only section. Like they sat down and practiced that in their own time. And though that's like an extreme situation where you have something as vital as having a civil rights movement, I think we can at least try to look at that part of the history and see what we can do for our own movements, like a conservative movement, to create more conservatives, or to show the world that the stereotype that Republicans or that conservatives are like this type of stereotype. It'd be great for us to break that by practicing more and learning how to actually speak to other people and not just come across as being a stereotype.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We had that for. Did you want anything else from that topic?
Well, we have another Change My Mind this Thursday, and it's on affirmative action being racist. And I highly recommend that people come out, try and debate, try to learn. I expect it to be somewhat controversial, especially given the month.
Yeah, definitely. Given the month that we're in, even my little 3rd grade students at my school, they know it's Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to give them a book today to read, some of the students, and they're like, you should give us a Black person book. And I was like, okay, you can have this one. It's The Year the Boar, Jackie Robinson. That's a great book. And they're just like, you should give us a Black book because it's Black History Month. We should hear a Black person. We should and I was just like, yeah, sure. And it is that month. It gets to the point to where even these
I don't even think I understood race as a social concept
right?
in 3rd grade.
That's what's surprising though. That's what's going on in our schools, whether we like it or not. I think it's at least a decent thing to see that kids are acknowledging what's going on, or that are acknowledging that we do have a Black History Month, we do have cultures in America. It's just a little strange to me, at least, because I didn't think that way when I was a kid. Like in 3rd grade, I was in Christian private school, and fighting bullies, and that was all I cared about, yeah, no, these kids, they know what's going on, so. A college student's definitely going to know that it's Black History Month and we're tabling about affirmative action.
Right.
That's going to be... Come out to see that, guys. Come out to see that. That's going to be a... what does Steven say? Hootenanny?
Hootenanny.
Yeah, that's going to be a hootenanny right there.
Shindig.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Let's see. And then... okay, so we got the meeting thing. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add for the meeting?
I mean, I came in late, so I mean, this has all been a pretty good summary of what I missed and
Yeah.
what I didn't miss.
Let's see. Okay, so then next we will target, since Megan, you don't have too much time left, but as a president, what is...
Important stuff. Okay.
Or even not.
So you want them,
What
like,
goes on?
the minute details? Is that what
The
you're...
nitty gritty
What do you do?
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I
What-
want to know.
What is a turning point president?
No.
And
What is Megan Master?
Alright. I mean, right now what I'm really focused on is donors. So with the Candace Owens event, we need to raise a certain amount of money in order to get her to come, and that comes with pushing out sponsorships, getting in contact with our donors, and really establishing relationships with conservative and libertarian organizations.
Yes, Phil, we all know that.
Oh gosh. Okay. Anyways,
I won't scream for you, Phil. No.
Anyway, so on Sunday, for example, we went to the Nevada Republican Women's Federation. We networked with some people, saw whether they'd be interested in sponsoring for the Candace Owens event. Followed up with
You have to kill yourself.
for a long time. Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Some baby boomer. I'm sorry. There's no oh my god. Like he was so condescending to Brett. It just wasn't okay. It's like I understand that A, this is going to cost money, and B, that the liability is going to be on us. I understand that. We're doing it. Like, give me the paperwork. Stop telling me oh, it has to go through a lot of stuff. I know it has to go through a lot of stuff. I work with the school weekly. It's all over complicated. I will sign the documents. We have 3 months. Let me talk with my exec team. And he did, I think he calmed down near the end once he realized that, we weren't going to be backing down on this and that his advice was irrelevant, quite frankly.
He gave his personal advice that we didn't ask for about 7 times.
It went for 20 minutes.
Sounds like a waste of time.
It was
It
an
really
absolute
was.
waste of time.
That was most of the meeting with Jay.
I love Jay.
It took
Well,
me 10 minutes.
At the end of the day, it was a little productive because basically the information we had beforehand was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got basically necessary information
It was
here in February instead of getting this information in April when it's really late.
That's very true. Just the school,
Makes you jump through hoops.
they make you jump through hoops. I did not know about that paperwork when I had that meeting. It was a 2-hour-long meeting. I had a 2-hour-long meeting, I think, last week in order to figure out, the nitty-gritty of the Candace Owens event.
To speak, they needed permission for us to have certain things at a certain place.
I'm aware.
Phil was asking.
Why would they need permission? Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah,
was.
basically we needed administration permission to have certain things because we're students.
We want to have alcohol for the VIP room, just to make it more exclusive.
More VIP.
Yeah, it's just
More
better.
non-alcoholic
People can get a few
beers.
drinks before the event, but we have to get a whole bunch of permissions because we're a student group who wants to have alcohol. But the VIP tickets are about $250. I really don't think that we're going to have
Students spending $250 to really drink alcohol.
Yeah. I'm not too concerned. So I guess I make PowerPoints, I make spreadsheets, I raise money. A lot of it has to do with CRM, both internally and externally. I table a lot.
Megan, for people who don't know, what is CRM?
That's customer relationship management. So I would describe that like it's retention, retaining our current membership, growing our membership, growing our relationships outside of our organization, and that's what CRM is. There you go.
Number one fan Phil over here.
Phil said alcohol is worth it though.
I mean, who
Exactly.
wants to have non-alcoholic tequila?
Oh God, he was like, just get punched, and I was like, I don't want just punch, dude.
Just get punched and then spike it when nobody's looking.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Just do it how they do in high school.
He said punch and cheese or something like that. He was just being very
Is he
condescending.
saying to have like a cheese board without wine?
What the fuck?
I know.
Get punched?
Ooh,
That's terrible. It's like some crappy like
Some
lemonade.
boomer
punch.
shit.
I'll bring Ziploc
Kool-Aid.
bags full of bad Kool-Aid.
Oh
That'll
my
be the
God.
drink.
He can have a punch. We'll just serve him punch. Like if he's there, just
Serve him
check
a
out.
punch. Just kidding, that's not real.
Enforcer right here.
But on a broader level, as president, I have a few focuses. Number one is getting in the new set of leadership, getting them trained, getting them ready to take over this position. Number two is creating an environment for conservatives. You know, we're very lucky at Sac State. We're not attacked. I mean, we have been attacked a few times, but it's about creating a space where people feel like they can talk freely about their ideas and build upon them and just aren't alone in California. And three, it's to develop leaders. It's helping people recognize their potential and act on it and no longer be afraid to speak up in the classroom, off campus, or on campus.
I like that. I like the whole environment thing. We need our own safe space.
Oh God, don't.
Don't
go
It's
there.
true though. I mean, straight up.
It's true. We need a space for conservatives to where we can hide away and game plan for when we come back.
And then, I mean, just a little from tonight, we had 6 first-timers today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's growing.
Mhm.
Conservatives are there, they just like don't realize it.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
what I
like
mean.
it's bigger than most people realize. So as soon as we get more and more people, I mean, hell, we filled every chair in the meeting today,
Mm-hmm.
and we still had about 5 people still standing.
Yeah, at this point, we're like, we don't get consistent members every meeting. Like, it varies, but we're at about 50 members. Maybe even a little bit more at this point.
You know, if this was a High School Music band, I would love it.
Well, you know what they say, right?
Oh
We're
my
all in
gosh!
this together.
That is true. Yeah.
Yes, I understood the reference.
I don't like that reference. I don't like High School Music.
I've actually never seen High School Musical.
I've never seen it either.
I've seen it
That's why
plenty
I
of
just don't
times.
like it.
My
Movie
bad.
night.
Ew. Ew.
You can do like 3 of them.
No.
Okay, yeah. So it is 9:30. Did you have more time to talk, or did you?
Do you have any last things that you wanted to get out there before
Let's see.
you have to leave?
How does because we are a chapter of Turning Point. How does the relationship between you, or at least the club, work between the club and Big Turning Point with Mr. Charlie Kirk? Praise his soul.
Yeah, so there's actually a pretty long chain of management. So there's myself, and then we have the regional director of the Sierras, and then we have a managerial director, and then there's a director of all of the regional directors. And it's really cool because it is grassroots in the sense that, you know, I sometimes communicate with our regional director's boss's boss in order to get things done, especially when it comes to donors and things like that.
Richard or one more up?
One more up.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. So, you know, there's like specific paperwork that we have to fill out for certain things. Like if we want to bring a speaker, we have to fill out certain forms. If we need an activism grant, we have to fill out certain forms, like for the dunk tank, whoop whoop. Just things like of that nature, I guess.
That seems
And then
stressful.
building off his question, how much of it is it like you're free to like push, or versus what you push what they tell you to push? Like today with the whole Tucker Carlson segment, which to me, I'm knowing how Charlie
Long.
Kirk and a little bit. No, it was actually really
I
interesting.
thought it was long.
But interestingly, Turning Point and Charlie Kirk in general push more market capitalism.
Yeah.
And so it seemed a little bit what we.
How much of it is
today.
your own words, and how much of it is actually you trying to push or like trying to
So to me, Turning Point is what we choose to make it. That's what I like about this organization. And if we're going to be free thinkers, then we need to be talking about the hard stuff, the stuff that other people don't want to talk about. So yes, I care about Turning Point's opinion in some matters. I do. But that was something that I knew was bothering our members and that I felt needed to be discussed. We're not just pawns. We are here because we believe in the movement. We're here because we believe in the values that Turning Point stands for. And yes, they push more for entrepreneurship, free markets, things like that. We have to recognize those problems, that there are problems that are associated with that. I'm not saying that capitalism is going to lead to a utopia. What I'm saying is that it's better than the alternative. And what they're fighting for are just very basic, fundamental things that bind us together, and that really are the standard of the conservative movement. So that is why I'm with Turning Point. I'm here for the values. I'm here to be having these hard discussions and to bond conservatives together. I actually I don't care about what they tell me to say.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
the American spirit.
Hopefully I don't get in trouble. Sorry,
yeah.
Kirk.
Let's get to
Oh,
it.
what do you think? Okay,
I
that works.
I got a dip.
You're good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Megan, for all that. Man, I really don't envy whoever is the next president of this group. That's gonna suck. All right. Okay.
Hashtag big shoes to fill.
All right,
Okay.
Brett, you want to walk her out to
I'll
her
walk her
questions?
There isn't big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big boots.
You know what they say
big high
about
heels to
Big
fill.
shoes,
Oh
Big
my
socks.
god!
big
Get out of
socks.
here.
You
Get out
got
of here.
big feet.
Go.
Go.
All right, Brett, we'll just keep this going until you come back, and then we'll talk. Ooh, shit.
Oh my gosh.
All right, that was Megan.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
Brett gonna get on the couch with us, or are you gonna get all snuggled up?
Brett is gonna get on the couch. I'm gonna get over here. Brett cannot touch me. Hashtag me too. But
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
God, I feel so
Low?
I'm like, yeah, like I'm always
Slouchy?
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our president, Megan. She's a great woman. Again, I fucking hate whoever's the president next.
That's my president.
Oh, it's gonna be too bad. Next semester we can't say I'm with her anymore. Fuck. I'm with them.
You win a little, you lose a little.
Yeah, oh well. But yeah, it was pretty great. Then we have Candace Owens. We have Business Symposium.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about that?
It's coming soon. We're gonna have a lot of cool speakers, and a lot of the business symposium is gonna have to do, essentially, with a lot of things that have to do with running and owning and operating a small business in California. We have Jennifer Grossman. She's the CEO of something. I'm honestly
Probably
not entirely
Grossman something.
sure what she's in charge of, but she's in charge of it, and she's our headlining speaker, so this lady knows what she's doing. And we've also got a few other guest speakers who are going that night, so hopefully it'll be a really, really great opportunity for people who are looking to eventually be business owners.
Yeah. I don't know too many. I actually don't know any of the speakers. So whenever I have to, as my job, talk to a dean and you write out an email, I'm like, go see these people. I don't know who they are. Just feel free to come by.
Yeah, I have their names all written down
Yeah, I gotta grab that.
in a different notebook
Oh,
in a
yeah.
different place.
Is it your Moleskine one or something?
Yeah, Moleskine notebook. It's fantastic. I've
Yeah.
had that thing for like 3 years. Genuine leather.
Yeah.
There's a paper pocket in the back.
Okay, I do have a question for you while you're here as our
Ooh.
guest. You were here with Turning Point since the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How, like, in the very, very, very beginning, what was that like?
Very, very tightly knit. But it was really interesting because it felt like it was definitely a tight-knit group of people, when we were still getting to know each other.
Okay. It's like you were all.
Or every other Tuesday, rather. So almost every week, because of either, our executive board getting together to discuss upcoming plans, or, our general meetings that were happening, or between this and that, I had to leave so many of my classes last spring early. And do I regret it? No. Not at all.
Yeah.
Because I really do feel like this club has blossomed into something really, really beautiful and something that is worth spending time on.
Totally. All right, let's get Brett back in here. You can have a seat over there, big boy.
Take offense to that.
Okay, you can have a
That's
seat over there,
racist.
little boy. That's racist. That's racist.
Ew.
Okay.
You're not my dad.
I hate when you guys use those voices. They make me very uncomfortable.
You ever think about that?
You ugly ass today.
All right. Yeah. So, we were just talking about the business symposium.
I know nothing about that.
Oh yeah.
Love
And
the
then
honesty.
I mean,
meetings.
I know it's gonna be interesting. It's not gonna draw the crowd that Candace Owens is gonna draw.
I do have another question for you. What was Turning Point's events like? What the fuck did we do back then?
Oh man, I think the first event we had was a Change My Mind, and it was very controversial.
What was it about?
Illegal immigration is ruining this country. Change my mind. And we had a camera set up at the table so we could, film people. Definitely taking kind of like a louder with prouder stance on these things.
God, so you
Hang
got
on. You guys asked me to answer a question, so I'm answering that. One of the things that we learned from that is that we should not be putting cameras on these tables because it kind of scares people away from coming up and having a discussion with us. And we find the discussion to be much, much more valuable than, something kind of surface level and honestly a little fake, so we can record it and put it up for likes and views and whatnot.
So what you're saying is we need camera glasses.
I don't know if I'd go that way. Any other questions?
I don't know. I just feel like when you're starting out a group like that, having, hey, let's get these people riled up so they don't want to come back isn't exactly the greatest approach.
Yeah, you guys went in pretty hard for one of the first events.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, no, that's
That's a no lube situation.
more power to you.
One of the most fun things I feel like I got to do with the, my group of peers when we were starting Turning Point is a handful of us went to training in Southern California for the Leadership Institute, and it was actually a blast. The road trip there and back was a great time. For YLS from the Leadership Institute, I do feel like I learned a lot. They think of it as political boot camp. That's kind of how they describe it, and a lot of the more successful politicians, especially in conservatism, have at least gone through some kind of training through the Leadership Institute. Mm-hmm. So that was very, very gratifying, and once you get through some in-person seminars and whatnot, you can access the online training and certain courses that are solely online for free, which is really, really great. It's actually a fantastic resource if you're trying to learn more about how to navigate yourself as a club and make sure you're doing things officially, properly, with decorum.
Yeah, I just checked a message that Megan sent me way back when. I guess that thing in Philadelphia was that. So.
YLS?
She said it was let me see if I can pull it. Leadership
School?
Institute Student Activism.
Kind of similar, but it was. I honestly can't remember if it was 2 days or 3 days, but it was balls to the wall, trying to learn about how to navigate the world of politics, and tiny, tiny, tiny fish in a gigantic pond.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They had it in Philadelphia, or this was like similar one in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really feel like going out there to Philadelphia, which just means Steven. I would have felt like I was babysitting. But that's okay. We had Steven on once, so people kind of get a good look at that how he is. Yeah, I think that's like it for like the starting turning point thing. Okay, as for you, since we are talking about like our roles a little bit, what the fuck do you do? What's your week to week like as a finance chair?
Doing whatever Megan tells us to do.
Really? No, that sounds
I
about
mean,
right. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Epicure thing today was literally me walking by it and going, "Hey, this is open. Let me ask a question because what Megan told me just doesn't sound right."
Okay.
And come to find out, everything Megan was told was completely wrong.
Who was she told by?
Not
Nikki.
Nikki.
Okay.
Someone else. Someone with an A, I believe.
But
But
her name was asshole, so
yeah. But it was just like that's just a pure chance thing.
yeah.
And
You found out stuff, so that's good.
no, yeah. I mean, the whole alcohol and catering, that's my task from Megan.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's a little. Well, I mean, it's not a lot of work, but it's also just like.
It's stressful because you have
It
to be
seems-
in it.
It's just has to be. It's dealing with money that's not mine, especially when the whole. We're trying to do it, be both cost effective, and be
Extravagant for the VIPs.
exactly at the same time.
It definitely seems like a lot of what you do is tedious because you are working with the, public university bureaucracy.
Mm.
It's like just from everything I've heard you and Megan talk about, it just seems like it's hoop after hoop after hoop to jump through.
And unfortunately, it's mostly. I hate that it's her that jumps through the hoops. Like when I went earlier, before I brought her, they told me, "Oh, the person who booked the room has to come and do it." Because I couldn't do it as Megan's representative. I had to go find her and go get her.
Yeah.
Just for them to tell us, "Oh, come back later."
That's
It's-
stupid.
At this point, it seems, kind of. When I went through nuts and bolts, it was under the premise that, just about anything that a club president could do, I would also be able to sign for.
No, definitely. That's
And it just seems really unfortunate and kind of like it's a
redundant.
waste, it's redundant and it's a waste of everybody's time for us to not be able to do that, especially if we've been through nuts and bolts and we're, all trying to lean on each other a bit.
No, definitely. I mean, especially in the sense of since Sac State only requires 2 officers, a president and a treasurer, which meaning I am one of the required officers by the school, and I still can't do anything. It's just another level of bureaucracy.
Just nuts and bolts. All our officers, all our members, everybody, all of them, all at once. I think next semester I'll have to go through that.
No, most definitely you will.
Yeah, I have to go through that.
It's just a few hours and it's not the worst training.
Just a few hours.
No, it was only 1 hour.
So I have an hour left in my life.
I like to round
Yeah.
up so people are pleasantly surprised.
I'll go in there hating it, coming out hating it.
Basically.
Yeah. So we have your finance stuff. I mean, it's mostly just Megan. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, at the worst part I hate, honestly, is, like, I don't have the time available to commit to
Yeah.
helping as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
I mean, go to school full-time, and I work full-time.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to shoot myself in the head sometimes.
I feel that. I feel that.
I mean,
Second Amendment, Phil, Second Amendment.
I don't think I can.
If
bring
you're
out
still
a gun on
watching.
YouTube. No, I
No.
can't bring out a gun on YouTube.
No.
No, please don't.
What? A fun?
Yeah. One of them fun sticks.
Are we going to sing the fun song?
I have my guitar.
Fire.
I said fun, not
Copyrighted.
What? Wait, I'll probably stop.
As for me, the hardest part of mine is finding who the hell am I going to email?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look up distro, click the word distro, and email everybody.
I think that's what I'm going to have to do.
MailChimp.
Yeah, just the same email for everybody. Like, hey, we're having business symposium. Come check it out. It's for entrepreneurship, business stuff, even if you're.
No, but I did like the idea of you going around to the business professors and saying, hey, maybe you can offer extra credit for your
Yeah.
students.
What if I do
As a business major?
business marketing? So I can shoot a group text or leadership text to just a bunch of people, see if anybody's willing to let me talk to their professor during my break times, and then I can just go up to them. And I would really like to talk to Megan to get flyers or something, or just some official paper where I can be like, here, pass this around to your students, let them take a picture or something, and then they can go to this if they'd like, because it does have to do with business and local business, the different propositions that are out there, just stuff like that. So I think that'd be great. But again, I have to talk to Megan about that first so I can get actual papers, so that something physical, so it's not just like, oh yeah, by the way, I have this club, we're doing a thing, you should show up.
Because we will be talking about policy on, I think it's AB 13 with rent control. It may or may not be worth it to talk to political science professors as well.
Definitely.
And I know a good few of us have experience with a lot of professors in that department, so if one of us goes with you, it's at least some kind of a foot in the door.
Yeah. So there's that. And then let's see. We had, and then your social media chair. So you just kind of do it when you can with your social media.
The gram.
Yeah, with the gram.
With the gram.
Who's in charge of our Facebook?
Do you have a Facebook?
Apparently.
Yeah, if there's anything that needs to go on Facebook, it's I don't touch Facebook.
Yeah. I don't think anybody
No,
really
who
cares.
uses Facebook
Okay,
anymore?
boomer.
Yeah. I deactivated my Facebook last week.
Last week, man, you should have got on that train like 2 or 3 years ago.
I did before, and then I reactivated it.
Hey, I just barely deactivated my MySpace.
Okay, Tom.
Hey, I can load up to my MySpace.
No.
How could I do that to Tom? Tom is everybody's friend.
Tom doesn't own it anymore.
That's...
And he has an Instagram.
What's his handle?
And he has a Twitter, too. I think it's Tom MySpace or something like that.
Allie Shea
Yeah.
started following you.
Ooh,
Ooh.
spicy. No, but what I do for the Instagram is keeping everything posted on what the club is doing, when we're doing it, upcoming events, reminders that we have meetings and whatnot, reposting a lot of things, especially what our members post and tag us in, which reminds me, it's going to be at TPUSACSUS.
Oh,
Very easy.
Megan forgot to give me the stuff.
For?
She said she was going to give me stuff for tabling. Oh well. Her loss.
C'est la vie, right?
Yeah. Who cares?
But it's just making sure that we keep our Instagram active, updated. It's always nice to keep our Instagram bio, again, updated.
And then always reposted by the big turning point.
Always try to get reposted, that
Big
kind of
turning
stuff.
point loves me.
Hashtag this is the face of Turning Point over here.
You know, things like keeping certain event links in our bio, making sure we have the next meeting date and time and location in our bio. It's a lot of little stuff. Definitely a lot of little things. Keeping track of insights, direct messaging people back.
No.
How's that? Like, how many direct messages does the page get?
Even I get some. Yeah.
Honestly, it really depends on how frequently we've been posting and sort of how inflammatory what we've been posting is.
Hell yeah.
You know, our Instagram's been relatively tame for the past, week and a half, 2 weeks, so
Sounds like it's time to spice it up.
not too many DMs right now, but I'm not the only person with access to the Instagram. So in between, the hectic things in the agenda that I keep, Megan also has access to the Instagram, so if I don't have time to get to, X, Y, or Z, she'll likely have time, and if she doesn't have time, I will. So it's a little bit of a balancing act.
Yeah. And then we need to update some of the stuff on Instagram for like leadership team, the story stuff. But yeah, no. It seems like we have, at least Turning Point is fairly organized with stuff. Let's see. Oh, Megan forgot to send out the schedule in the email. That's kind of an important thing. But it gets out there, you always check the Instagram. I think the best way to keep in touch with us is the Instagram. Somebody's going to be on there. If for some reason Instagram is not your thing, our group chat, if you come to our table, stop by, sign up, ask us to be in the group chat, and we'll try to get you in there. Yeah. And then, we'll cut this a little shorter than usual because really the highlight was Megan and seeing what goes on with her.
Absolutely.
Next guest is most likely going to be Kyle Gerard.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, he's PR, all that. So
Hey, just remember to vote for me and him as #cutest couple.
you and Kyle?
Damn straight.
I thought it was me and you.
I'm cheating. on
I'd
you.
vote.
Fuck.
Oh man, I was ready to vote for you too.
No, you can vote me and Kyle.
Get out of my house.
Wait, why would I vote for you and Kyle if I think Kyle and Lucy are cuter?
Get out of my house.
Lucy's not part of the turning point.
I mean, she is.
Is she?
Looks like Steven and Alcohol have.
See, yeah, they're gonna win again.
I didn't know we had a
competition.
girl named Alcohol in our club.
Everybody's had a sip.
She was here first.
Everybody's had a sip.
Hashtag I'm with her.
Oh my god.
That's my president.
That's my
All right.
president.
Well, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, Casey. You're always like an emergency guest, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, Brett, for showing up.
You don't pay me enough to be here.
Wait, you're getting paid?
There's money involved. I'm losing money. I'm losing money. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. Again, follow us on Instagram.
At TPUSACSUS. TPUSACSUS on Instagram. And I
And-
definitely feel like an infomercial.
We will be tabling tomorrow, February 26th, and we'll be there.
And Thursday.
And
Be
And
there or
Friday.
be square, homies.
we're going to be tabling throughout this week because we need signatures, so come, please, help us out.
Join
Invite
us.
your friends. I'll be there.
Can you say no to this face? I mean, I can, but can you?
Ew.
All right, so that is
All right,
all,
guys.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all for stopping by and popping in. Thank you, Phil and Ivan and literally everybody that popped in and will watch this afterwards. Again, thank you guys. This has been Behind the Point. Tune in next week and we'll have another episode pumped out. Thank you very much. Have a good night. God bless America.